This is KWQC-TV Davenport, the recognized leader in television news. Now, NewsCenter 6 at 10, with Don Ryan, Paula Sands, Sports with Tom Cornelis, and John David Weather. This is NewsCenter 6.
We have just reached a tentative settlement on a new master contract. We reached a settlement in principle. We are now awaiting language to see that it properly reflects that settlement. We still have some issues in some of the local unions to be resolved, and we'll be working on those in the next day or so, and hopefully have the language out of the way and the local union agreements out of the way, and hopefully be able to go to present it to our membership sometime this weekend.
That announcement less than 2 hours ago after the longest strike in the history of Deere & Company.
That's right, and the two sides met today and tonight for the first time in weeks. And Rich Masters has been following the talks all day long. He's with us now in the News Center at the end of a very busy but kind of gratifying day.
Well, it certainly was. It was a long day, and I think the agreement was somewhat of a shock for most of the folks who had been anticipating something sometime this week, but not quite this soon. The bargaining committee spent only about 2 hours talking with Deere & Company, but when they emerged and the announcement was made, the reaction was one of relief.
Well, let me just say that we, like the UAW, are delighted to end this dispute, and we're looking forward to having the employees back in our shops making the best farm and industrial equipment in the world.
When do you anticipate that might be, just as a guess?
I have no further comment.
The guys out there are going to want to know when they're going to be back at work.
Our hopes are to be able to have everything out of the way by the weekend and be able to present it to our members for their consideration.
Well, Rich, you know, the Deere side is that we're very pleased that we've reached an agreement, and we're sorry that it took so long. We wish that it hadn't taken that long. We're pleased that it's over, and now it's a matter of ratifying the agreement with the local unions.
Bill, can we get some comments about your involvement?
Not tonight. Not tonight.
Are you excited about the settlement?
Well, I'm delighted to the settlement, obviously. Very nice.
That last gentleman was one of the two mediators brought in to mediate the sides and get them back to the bargaining table. Bill Usser, he was a former labor secretary under President Gerald Ford. You remember last week we told you about that, and that mediator was obviously very, very crucial in the negotiation stage.
So all told, a very encouraging night, if not the final word yet.
Well, this is a major sticking point, obviously. The local issues need to be ironed out, but basically this is it. This is it. Looks like they could be back to work by Monday.
We'll be talking to you later on in the newscast, getting some of your thoughts on this busy day.
All of this, of course, coming as good news to the thousands of Deere workers who have been without jobs since long before the holidays. United Auto Workers members are still on the picket lines tonight. NewsCenter's Charlie Wojciechowski is out there right now to report to us from there. Charlie, the mood out there?
Andrea, the mood out here can be summarized in really two emotions, one of joy and one of relief. It's been over 5 months now that these people have been without work, and that lack of income is beginning to take its toll. With me now is Terry Cowan. He's a UAW member. Terry, what was the first thing that went through your mind when you heard the announcement?
Glad to be going to go back to work. It's been bad on the Quad Cities, this Deere strike.
Has it hurt you particularly?
Oh, yeah, you bet. It's hurt, I think, a whole lot of people besides me, too. So I'm just glad to be going back to work.
Thank you, Mr. Cowan. In addition to the people here on the Milan picket line, we also spoke to people in Moline tonight. And although they also expressed a lot of happiness about going back to work, there was also some doubt.
Oh, I just hope it's true, you know. I hope it ain't another rumor like it is, but you say you just come from there, so I guess it's not a rumor.
You ready to go back to work?
I'm ready. I think there's a lot of us ready to go back.
I believe it's an answer to prayer because our church, we've been praying about it ever since we've been off work.
We've been out of work a long time. We've been waiting for this.
Did you think it would take this long?
At the beginning, no.
Well, I was glad to hear it. It's been out for going on 6 months now. It's about time to get back, but as long as we get what they want.
Even though there has been a tentative settlement reached, these pickets will remain on the line until they are told to do otherwise. And as for these picketers here, they'll stay here till 11 o'clock. Live in Milan, I'm Charlie Wojciechowski.
Charlie, do you get the feeling that the union members you've talked to would ratify?
People I've talked to said they want to go back to work, and really whatever it takes to go back to work, they're willing to do.
Okay, thank you. Charlie Wojciechowski reporting to us live from the picket lines in Milan. Snow.
Snow good till Thursday. No, it's terrible.
That's even worse than the snow.
Oh, I know that. Tomorrow should be a decent day, however, despite my terrible use of the language. And look at this, our high today, 29 degrees. That's not bad for January, just about normal, in fact. 15, our overnight low. We picked up close to an inch of snow this morning with that quick moving storm, about 3/4 of an inch precipitation-wise on the month. Right now, the temperature 25 degrees out there. The humidity is up at 96%. Barometer also rising. The wind now from the southwest and light. And sunrise tomorrow at 7:18. Around the neighborhood tonight, 28 degrees in Dubuque and in Des Moines, 22 in Chicago, and still a bit warmer out in Kansas City, where it is 33 degrees. Really two things to see on our national scene tonight. That quick moving storm that left about an inch of snow around our area has now moved well off to the east, bringing some snow, as you can see, from just around the Virginia area on down into South Carolina and Georgia. The good news, not expected to affect the northeast that has all that snow already. This is going to move out to sea. Meanwhile, a more substantial storm out to the west, as you can see, spreading rain from Seattle down to San Francisco and snow at the higher elevations. That's what's going to be headed our way by Thursday or so. Combination of snow and some slushy stuff. As you can see on our satellite sequence today, a good view of those clouds that moved through earlier today, bringing with it that light snow, moved quickly off to the east. As you can see, as we follow it off to that direction, we'll be keeping an eye out to the west, however, as more clouds move in toward midweek. Now, the temperatures today, at least we're on the normal side, 29 for us. Even warmer out in Des Moines, got up to 42 there and 39 degrees in St. Louis. Tomorrow we should stay in the 30s as some seasonal weather continues. High pressure will help to dominate and clear our skies a bit tomorrow, giving us a bit of relief before the next snowstorm moves in. Meanwhile, as you can see out west, low pressure getting ready to move in and bring with it that chance of precipitation. Record highs today, 86 degrees out in Tucson, 72 in LA. Not a record, rather chilly in the northeast, but at least mild weather, 26 in New York, just 35 in Atlanta. Here's a look at our forecast. Partly cloudy and mild tonight with a low near 20, light wind from the northwest. Tomorrow, partly sunny, a little bit warmer, a high in the lower 30s. Then things begin to change late Wednesday into Thursday. Chance of snow, perhaps some freezing rain on into Friday, and we'll leave the chance in for Saturday as well. Temperatures generally in the lower 30s.
But before that, a nice day tomorrow, so let's end this on an up note.
Decent tomorrow.
And then you're going to ruin our weekend.
Then we'll ruin
it. Talk about that later. Well, lots and lots of basketball tonight, as we've come to expect on Tuesdays.
That's right. Tom Cornelis, of course, will have his usual stellar lineup of wrap-ups, highlights, scores, and all of that. Well, they tried, but
Johnny Orr knows how Dorothy felt in that Kansas tornado tonight.
He had two.
It's bitter. Anyway, after letting one slip away Saturday against OK State, the Iowa State Cyclones touched down in Loris, Kansas tonight. Not the ideal locale to find a victory, as the last now 44 victims can verify. To say the Cyclones were blown out would be putting it mildly. One reason, of course, is Danny Manning, a man among boys mostly. Even on the rare miss, Cedric Hunter is there on the offensive board. They had plenty of them. The Jayhawks soar 16-2 early on. Turnabout is fair play. Hunter misses the cupcake, but Manning is there to tip it in. 36-20 for the Hawks intermission, and Johnny Orr is not a happy camper tonight. Jeff Greer, about the only ISU bright spot, he scored 26 of the Cyclones' 48-point output.
And to recap tonight's major news story, it looks like a labor dispute that's gone on since August 23rd has come to an end between Deere and the UAW.
That's right. Deere and Company and the UAW say they have a tentative agreement on a master contract. And of course, a lot of Channel 6 people have been very close to this story since it started, perhaps none more so than Rich Masters, who spent today, at least, living with the contract negotiations. Were you surprised, Rich, that a settlement came this soon? They just started talking this evening, and then all at once they're back.
I was kind of surprised, but then again, you know, Don, I really wasn't all that surprised. We knew last week when they went into, we heard that there was going to be a mediator. When Bill Usry gets involved, former labor secretary, they mean business. They are not there to play around. They bring him in. He's an expensive individual to come in to settle a strike, and he has settled a number of strikes, Don, such as, you know, the Chicago teacher strike, the first NFL strike. So, I mean, he's a heavy hitter when we're talking about. Right.
It's pretty early, I suppose, to know anything about the details of the contract.
We don't know anything about the details yet. Bill, we asked him about that, Bill Cass-Stevenson. He said, well, I think I better tell the membership first and let them vote on it. But I think at this time, you know...
When will they be getting the word?
Hopefully by this weekend, depending on how long it takes to iron out the local issues. They start that tomorrow morning, but that shouldn't take too long, probably the rest of the week. And then hopefully by Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, they should be getting the vote on the brand new contract.
Whatever has to be done yet, you kind of got the feeling it's kind of a formality more than anything.
It's a formality, it's over, and I think they're going to be back, my prediction, they're going to be back in work by at least middle of next week, if not Monday.
Okay, great. Well, for those people who say we never report any good news, there it is.
There's good news. Good night.